Three dots should, no, it's on. Should not be on. The red light should not be on. All right, good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. We'll call the meeting to order for our August 28th, 2025 Park Advisory Board meeting, and we'll start with the roll call.
Alexander Aldrich,
Present.
David Marcourt,
Here?
Mitch Havig, Robert Ross,
Here.
Aaron Gillum, Brian Haugen,
Here.
Emily Moore,
Here.
All right, thank you for that. And we'll start off with recognition and presentations. And we have Derek Borman here for you introduce, or Paul's going to take care of this? All right, thanks, Paul. Perfect.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce our new park maintenance manager, Derek Bowman. He started here with us August 4th was his start date, and very excited to have him on the team. He brings a lot of knowledge in his previous work as far as managing projects and leading teams. So really excited that he's joined the team, and excited to see what changes he'll bring along and improvements to the group as a whole. Derek can share a little information about himself, but wanted to introduce him formally.
Hi, my name is Derek Bowman. I've been in the FM area for about 9 years or so. My wife and 2 kids, we live in North Fargo, and I've got a first time both middle school kids, so it's exciting to have both kids in one school again, so when we go visit them for their concerts and stuff, we don't have to go twice. My background's mostly in engineering. I've got a farming background. I was also in the military, and so I'm very excited to be joining the crew in the park. We've got a really good group, and I'm really excited to see what kind of things we can do over the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome, and glad to be a part of our team. All right, our next presentation is Ronan. Is someone introducing them, or just Ronan's coming on up?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to introduce Ronan John. He approached actually Holly last year about inquiring about doing an Eagle Scout project in one of the parks, and he recently completed that project, I think last week, and he gratefully was able to make time to come kind of tell us about it and show us some pictures and talk about that process. So Ronan John, if you head up to the mic, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is. We get the board. My name is Ronan John. I, as he said, just recently completed an Eagle Scout project. It's a big 8-foot by 8-foot chessboard made out of pavers and those really tall chess pieces. I've had a lot of people ask me what an Eagle Scout project is. It's like the final test before you can become a Eagle Scout, which is meant to be the highest rank in Scouts. It's meant to test leadership skills, social skills, organizational skills, everything that Scouts is supposed to teach you, except for the camping stuff. In my opinion, one of the hardest parts that a lot of people have with this project, or with Eagle Scout projects, is figuring out what you want to do and where. I was really lucky because both of these things kind of just came to me. 3 years ago, I was at a new camp, never been there before. It was a Boy Scout summer camp, and they had something I'd never seen before. It was a big 8-foot by 8-foot chessboard made out of pavers. Now, granted, now that I've seen it once, I see it everywhere, but it was the first time I'd ever seen something like that, and I loved it. It was a great social center. You made a lot of friends just by playing against them or talking to the people who were watching, and as I came home from summer camp, I kind of took that as a potential thing to do for my project, but I didn't know where to do it. My dad, however, being in Moorhead Public Services, had a contact from the city. I unfortunately don't remember who it was. The email is gone, but that person led me to Holly. And Holly worked with me for 6 months, about a year that summer, and we very quickly decided on our first location, which was down by the river in Viking Ship Park. And that summer I talked to a bunch of landscapers, and I was getting ready to kind of do it, but then Holly retired, and I believe Paul Feichner took over, and he consulted a couple specialists and decided it wouldn't work out to do it there. And it was around this time I was also transferred to Steve French as my new main contact from the city, and we worked very closely from this point forward. And we had 2 different potential locations, and we decided on this one, Davie Memorial Park. That little red square in that top right corner of the left picture is pretty much where it is. Sorry, it's an old picture. It doesn't look like that anymore, I promise. But, and that, that right picture is just a better image of what the project site would have looked like beforehand. Now, after we had decided on where exactly to put it, I kind of kicked it into gear and went ahead and got some funding, presented at a couple different places like, let's see, the Dilworth Lions, the Legion, the VFW, and got $1,600 of funding-ish from them. And I also worked very closely with JT Lawn Services, very helpful. They gave me a lot of information on what to do. Now every time I talked to a new landscaper, which is like 5 times, they told me to dig just a little bit deeper. So I started at 2 inches, which admittedly is way too shallow, and ended at 9, which at the time seemed really deep, but not so much. But they were super helpful, and about 3 days before the project started, they decided they were just gonna donate all of the landscaping stuff, the pavers, the everything except for basically the pieces and the chess pieces and the tools. And that is August 15th when we broke ground. Me and my dad having yet another connection with MVM, managed to score me a free rental excavator, and we took that hole out. I was thinking there's no way the scouts would be able to dig that hole, but after it was dug, I don't think it would have been an issue. 9 inches is not that deep. But this is August 16th, after everything was ready. 9 a.m. we started. That top left picture was pretty much right away, 9 a.m.-ish. And we were just squaring off the hole, making sure everything looked good before we started. And then we put in that geotech fabric, that black tarp-looking thing. Keeps the good stuff in, the bad stuff out, whatnot. And then we put in the number 57, the crushed granite, which just big granite rock. But about 6 inches of that, filled it in, made it flat, and then we put in the number 9, which is basically just P-rock. An inch of that, which is that right picture, that's actually me making sure it's as deep as it should be. But after that, after we flattened everything out, we got some of our older scouts in that top, or in that left picture. They were putting the pavers in, hammering them down, and we knew this was going to happen, but after we put all the pavers in, it was horribly unlevel. So that right picture is actually us taking pavers out and putting sand in and making it look fairly nice. Then we put the edgers in, and they actually ended up being a little bit too big. So luckily my dad happened to have a Sawzall, so we cut the edges off of some of the edgers. But that left picture is some of our younger scouts trying their best to hammer in some of the nails, and one of our older scouts, Jacob, is giving them a hand. And then we just, after we got the edgers in to make everything nice and tight, we put the locking sand on top, which was just to keep everything in place, and we have some younger scouts sweeping that in. After that, we backfilled everything and made it so you can't see any of the edges, and then we put some grass seed on it and watered it. Hopefully it'll look all nice and pretty. But that top left picture is just a group picture we took after the project, and after that picture, the scouts were free to play on the board for a while as long as they wanted, and that's some of our younger scouts having a fun time on the board. This was a really fun project. Oh, yeah, that's right. A plaque will be going in soon to recognize some of the donors and the supporters. City of Moorhead, maybe Steve specifically, the Moorhead Lions, all of them. And any extra money will be donated to the City of Moorhead, hopefully for use on the board, but what can you do? If for any reason the City of Moorhead can't accept it or is unwilling, the BSA requires me to have you guys donate it to a charity of your choice. So I can't keep it. It's got to go to some charity. So that's the money. It was a fun project. Obviously, I have a passion for chess. I have always wanted something like this in Fargo, made out of like pavers and whatnot, or Moorhead, sorry. And I just want to say a quick thank you to the City of Moorhead, obviously, specifically Steve French for his help, and also my donors, Moorhead Lions, or Dilworth Lions, the VFW, the Legion, and also to, oh boy, oops, I'm sorry, I have forgotten the last one. But quick thank you to those people and those organizations. If you guys have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Questions? Emily?
I don't have any questions, but I wanted to say that this is an amazing amenity for the city of Moorhead. So I'm very grateful for you and your leadership. There are so many values that I saw you present on, from fundraising to project management, having a vision, a clear vision, a strategy, flexibility. So you showed your ability to pivot when needed. And all those are just amazing leadership qualities, and I'm just so grateful that you carried out your vision in our city. So thank you.
You. Anyone else?
I'd agree, and coming to present here today is a huge thing for you to do as well, and engaging the community. I think getting the community involvement as well. I think I heard Dilworth Lions, VFW, the Legion, JT Lawn Care, and MVM, I think is just, it's awesome to bring those together to do something like this that now is visible to the community. So thank you.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for presenting and nice work, so.
Thank you for having me.
And Dave, on behalf of the City of Moorhead, Ronan, we wanted to recognize you with a certificate for outstanding community service and meaningful contribution to the City of Moorhead. So thank you so much.
Thanks again, Ronan. All right, we'll move on to number 3, agenda amendments. I think we have a few changes possibly.
Yep, so we do looking to move item 7A up to 6E for approval by the Park Board.
All right, I just need a motion for accepting the changes, the amendments to the agenda.
I motion to make those changes to make those amendments and changes.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Robert and second by Brian to accept the agenda as presented here, or as the change agenda, I guess. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And next will be the approval of the May 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes.
Move to approve. More.
Second.
Robert, all right. I have a motion by Emily and second by Robert to accept the minutes from May 22nd, 2025. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any citizens here to be heard today? It looks like no. So we'll move on to our business items, and we'll go on to letter A, and Sean will take over the approval of Woodland Golf Course redesign. So Sean?
Yeah, thank you. Members of the Park Board, you'll see here in front of you information regarding the disc golf course redesign at Woodlawn Park. So this course was installed in 1997, making it just about 30 years old, and it's currently served as Moorhead's only disc golf course. In 2024, staff was approached by 2 members of the disc golf community, Joey Schmidt and Pete Carl, to discuss a course redesign and improvements to the course. In 2024, the Park Board approved to allocate $50,000 from the 2025 Park Amenities Fund to help cover the renovation of the course. The scope of the project includes new baskets that are double chained. The current baskets now are single chained. It really helps keep the disc in the basket when you hit it. New tee pads, signage, landscaping, and to improve the overall feel of the course. The design of the course took several attempts as the safety of the park users was of utmost importance. I want to recognize Joey and Pete for their dedication, their time, and their effort for this project, as it's spanned well over a year, and they volunteered and donated their time to the city for this project. As part of the redesign, you kind of see here, here's the proposed new layout. So if we go back to the previous slide, the course looks completely different than the course layout that's been there for 30 some years. So moving to the proposed layout, we're kind of utilizing two separate courses in a sense. There's a ring kind of on the inside part of the course, and then some more challenging shots kind of more to the outside of the course. There are two properties located on the east side of the course that could see some increased foot traffic as part of the redesign. We did make an effort to send notices to those homes. One is a single family home. The other one is a multi-family kind of apartment style house. We did not hear any objections or anything that would oppose the redesign. So we definitely feel it's a great layout. It minimizes any interruption to regular park users, and we can kind of move to the next slide. So this is just over the course that we've been having these conversations with the Woodlawn redesign. We've kind of took a look at the course, and we got requests from the disc golf community. So this is a basket that's really beat up. The grass around there, can't really sustain the foot traffic, and oftentimes, holds water. So kind of just in an effort to try to beautify the area a bit. Park maintenance has really, kind of stepped up to do that. So if we go move to the next slide, we've, per request, kind of started to put mulch around the tee pads to kind of preserve some of that landing, preserve some of the discs as they get pretty beat up. Here's that aerial shot of kind of some of the work that's just been done right now. And as we move forward with the redesign, we'll look to either put some agri lime or continue with the mulch around the baskets. It's been really well received by the disc golf community. Excuse me. Moving on through the presentation here. So of that $50,000, I think we have a budget slide. So $50,000 was budgeted. So we have ordered the baskets, which did come in under budget, which was really exciting. They have arrived. And Paul and his team and Derek are working with a contractor as well as the park maintenance crew to kind of set up a plan to get the course, get the tee pads, get the anchors installed. And we're hoping for this work to be done later in the fall. So at that time, I can entertain any questions on the project.
Any questions? Otherwise, we do need a motion to approve the redesign of the golf course or the disc golf.
And I would say the two properties there is a buffer of at least 50 feet. It's more like 50 to 100 feet from their property line. So we do think the impact would be very small, if any, because the whole course is located on parkland.
Do we have any potential for the old baskets? Could, one or two get placed in other parks with reasonable expense just to spread the idea of disc golf?
That's a great idea. I think that's something we can definitely look into and explore. I'm not sure what the plan would be for the old baskets. I don't know if they would.
Yeah, as far as the baskets themselves, we'd definitely be able to reuse them. So I think that's a great idea where we could kind of expand the exposure around in other parks. I think it would be a large undertaking for like a full course, but if we're just talking a couple of baskets here and there, that would be a pretty cool amenity.
So I'll give a motion to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right. I have a motion by Brian and seconded by Alex to accept the redesign of the Woodland disc golf course. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, letter B, approval of the trailhead addition to the MB Johnson Park.
Yeah, members of the park board, you'll see in front of you a proposal from the Fargo Moorhead Trail Builders Group. So since 2010, the FM Trail Builders, a 501c3, they've been dedicated to preserving and enhancing off-road trails in the parks and other public lands in the FM community. They currently maintain 16 miles of trail. These are single dirt track trails in the park system between Fargo and Moorhead. In the Moorhead Park system, Fargo Moorhead Trail Builders maintains trails at MB Johnson, Gooseberry, and Horn Park. So an effort in conversations with this organization, they brought us the idea of ways to increase awareness and activation on these trails because they are tucked kind of away off the beaten path along the river. So FM Trail Builders kind of proposed an idea to build a trailhead. And as you can see, the one on the screen there, that's an example of one at Kiona State Recreation Area, a few hours away. That's kind of a big biking and hiking community. So they got this idea, wanted to model it off of that. And we kind of believe this amenity will really boost the appeal of the park as well as the trail system as a whole. And it will really kind of serve as an activation of the entire area. So as you can kind of see on the screen there, the blue line indicates the potential location of the trailhead, and that brown line is where the start of the dirt track trail is, I believe. So the project proposal outlines, if approved, Moorhead Parks and Recreation would pay for the material, with the labor and equipment costs being covered by the FMTB network of volunteers, as well as some donors that they work with. Park Board is being asked to approve the trailhead construction at MB Johnson.
I have a question. I'm not sure can we wait for discussion or not, but since we're putting up new signage already at the parks, it sounds like, I think anyways, right, starting maybe this fall or next year, would it be good to tie it in with that sign so it's not additional, or at least resemble the same kind of look, or do they want it completely different than what we're doing with the signage at each of the parks?
Yeah, they're kind of going for more of that kind of state park type of trailhead just as a marker. We are in discussions with our design team to keep some components on that sign branded to the new signs. Basically it's something that we plan to kind of tie all that in. That way it kind of flows cohesively.
Okay, good. Okay.
Would you be able to go back to the map again? So with the placement that you have for the signage potentially being there with the blue line, correct? Is there a reasoning that we want the trailhead entrance over on that area for the dirt path? Because if I remember right, in that area, that is mostly the playground space and not really starting with the trailhead going into the dirt biking path and everything like that. That's more towards the west. I do know there's some in the tree area, but in the grass area, there's no entrance really. Or am I forgetting something?
Yeah, so I actually met out on site with the trail builders, and we kind of discussed the location of it. And the reason they wanted to place it at where the blue line is here is it kind of two different things. It's visible from the roadway, so as people come into the park, they can actually visually see the trailhead. And then it's near the parking lot, or generally near the parking lot. So there's a spot where someone would be able to park and get their bike ready and then enter the trail system right there. One of the impacts, as you can see from the map, or if you advance the slide, there's a red box, kind of where we would impact the native prairie planting that's currently installed at MB Johnson. And it's not uncommon in that park, as you can see from the next couple of pictures where we have that trail going through the native prairie. So that's kind of what it would look like there. They'd have the trailhead, and then you'd progress first thing kind of through that native prairie area. So it would create a tunnel and kind of a entrance effect.
I mean, I think what they do is a huge benefit, you know, in our park system and community. And if this is one of their priorities, I think I'd support it. I think it would be neat if we had ongoing funds for them in some manner. It doesn't seem like they're asking for much, but they do a lot, you know, to maintain these and provide that service that instead, you know, the park doesn't have to pick up themselves.
For sure, and they've been a great group to work with. You know, they're really self-sufficient. You know, they, like Brian said, they do a lot of that, all that trail maintenance on their own. They also do some ski grooming or bike grooming for trails in the winter. So, no, it's a great project, and they've been a phenomenal group, a great partner to the city.
Motion to be made? Someone can do that?
I motion to approve the Trailhead addition at MBJ.
Second?
All right, thank you. We have a motion by Mitch and second by Brian to approve the Trailhead addition at MB Johnson Park. Any further discussion? Further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the business is construction update, and I believe, Paul, you're gonna lead us through this.
Yes, sir. The next step here, I wanted to provide an update on various construction projects that we have going on here in 2025, a wide array of different activities we have throughout the city, and just give you guys an update on where we're at with those projects and some pictures to share on what they look like. I'll just step through the PowerPoint one at a time. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to grab my attention or interrupt, and I can answer questions as they come up. First one here is just a list of the projects that I'll go through and kind of the different areas that we're talking about. So pretty decent list, I guess. First one I wanted to brag about was our pickleball conversion. This is where we converted the tennis court to pickleball at Village Green Park. Pretty substantial project here where we utilized grant funding with the age-friendly grant. But the project included completely repaving the asphalt surface, putting down the paint and the lines, the new nets. There was some new fencing. You can see in the picture here that we've developed a court rules signage for the court itself too. Similar to the signage Sean was talking about is just trying to create that cohesion and branding with everything. If you guys may recall that we did some park regulation signing last year and this year, and we're just trying to keep that brand or that design theme going, so we have that cohesive look. The one thing that's not shown in here is that the pickleball court will also receive windscreens. Those arrived last week, so they'll be up shortly, and that will complete the project, and we'll be able to close out the grant.
That's a quick one on that. So I've had the pleasure of playing on this brand new court, and it is fantastic. The ladies that I played with had a request for a restroom, and we're curious if there's going to be a porta potty. Of course, they would love to use it's at the NRC that's right over there, but it was open during the pool hours, but not when they were playing pickleball. So there was just some question on that. So I wanted to follow up and see if there are any plans for restrooms in this location.
Yeah, that's something we're constantly looking at, because the way neighborhood parks were designed, we kind of built a policy off most neighborhood parks. They're kind of meant to be, you go there for an hour, and they typically have smaller amenities that a community park or regional park wouldn't have. So the policy that, you know, I guess the guidelines we've been going off is to have bathrooms available at community and regional parks. Having said that, we have got a number of requests from the community with these amenities, like pickleball, since they are extending those hours into the park. So it is something that we are ongoing discussing, trying to look to see what we can facilitate in 26.
Okay, next up was just a quick picture, Centennial Complex. As you guys know, here in the last couple of years, we've done quite a bit of improvements utilizing ARPA funding. The remaining project that was out there here for 2025 was redoing some of the backstop fencing. A lot of it had heaved over the years from freeze thaw. So we had a company come in and lower the fence or take out the fence, put in new foundations and lower it so that we don't have issues with gaps or anything like that under the fencing. The majority of that work was done here this spring. They had one location that was not, weren't able to get to it before games started. So here this fall, the contractor will be coming in to finish one more location, then we'll be able to close out that project. Inclusive playground at Southside Regional Park. You're familiar with this location. This is another new amenity that we added in the last couple of years. One of the items that was addressed with the inclusivity was to have a fence around the perimeter of the park, just so everyone can enjoy it. And that was something that was completed here this spring. We did receive donations and grant funding for that project, and then a small dollar amount out of park amenities kind of filled the gap on that. But some of the major donations was the FM Area Foundation provided a $7,500 grant, and the Lake Agassiz Pacers had a $4,500 donation for that project also. So it's great to see that one kind of finished and looks sharp with the new fence around it. As you may recall from last year or previous discussions, we were taking a look at the ADA conditions and upgrades around our playground equipment. Last year we had interns take a look at some of the locations. They evaluated the parks or the playgrounds specifically around ADA requirements, one of them being a access path. So that would be like a concrete surface that you could get to the playground equipment directly. And another criteria for ADA is the ratio between ground components and elevated components. So if someone's not able to get into an elevated portion of the playground, there would be ground components that they would be able to take a look at. With that analysis, we did identify these 6 parks that needed a closer look. And the green is showing where we were good. The orange was possible needing improvement. So that's something we've worked on here this summer. We worked with a concrete provider to put concrete walkways to the 4 parks that are needing that work. And then we also worked with the playground vendors as far as looking at the design of the elevated components and the ground components, and making sure that that ratio is correct and in accordance with ADA regulation. So here's just a couple examples of what that looks like here on the left. North Crystal Creek Park, we added a ADA accessible path to the playground itself. And then the pictures on the right are examples of ground components that were added at MB Johnson Park. So, as you may recall from the park amenities funding for 2025, we allocated money to address these different locations and make sure that we're in compliance with regulation. Another project here at Hampton Park, we installed a swing set. So this was added to the playground equipment here. We had a request in the area to add a swing set amenity. So that's something our staff did, our maintenance staff did in-house here, as far as realigning the playground borders, adding new wood mulch, and adding obviously the swing set itself. So one of those items that kind of has a lot of different moving parts as far as responding to the public, adding the amenity itself, but then also gave us an opportunity to give the park as a whole a fresh refresh with the new mulch and new amenities for the kids in the area. The next item I wanted to highlight was various parks that we've been working on with the engineered wood fiber. I'll pass this one on to Derek so he can kind of speak to it.
Thank you, Paul. So the largest chance for injury on playgrounds for children is falls. So what typically looks like just a wood mulch that's in there is actually an engineered wood fiber. It's made slightly different, and it gives a safe playground surfacing for children to play on. When we have a depth of about 12 inches is what we target. It's certified for fall heights of 12 feet. So it's a pretty impressive material. It also has ADA compliance, and so the way the fiber actually locks together, you're actually able to roll a wheelchair over it and it won't sink down. And so over the last year or so, we've been really looking at the parks that we have and the levels of fiber that we have in there. And so we've purchased a lot over the last year, and we've been topping off to make sure that we're at the proper levels to have that fall protection. It requires some maintenance to make sure that areas like at the bottom of slides and underneath swings, that material tends to get kicked away just through play. And so we need to go back in and rake that in and fill it in. And so with that, over the next few years, we're going to try to bring in more and more of the rubber mats underneath, so that still provides fall protection in those areas, but you don't have the high maintenance and the risk of just having no surface underneath there.
Yeah, thank you, Derek. Yeah, so just one of the items that we really put a strong focus on this year. We've done many more parks than we typically do with it, so great job. And that's something, even with Derek coming in here in the last month, being able to take a hold of and keep that project moving along.
I have a question. Does that mulch not as, like, is it blow like normal mulch, or is it better that way too, so it doesn't necessarily in the wind go away? Or
When it interlocks, it kind of forms like a mat. If you walk on it, it actually kind of almost feels boggy. And so it's a lot more resistant to the wind blowing it away than a typical mulch would be. And it doesn't float up as bad either during heavy rain.
Sure. So you have to remove all the old mulch to put this in, or can this go on top of like a few layers?
I think mulch that was in there already was EWF. We just didn't have, over the time, it sort of just biodegrades, and so you need to keep topping it up.
Oh, sure. To get the right amount of,
Yes.
for safety. Okay, sure, thanks.
Next one, Woodlawn disc golf renovation, kind of doubled it up. Here was Sean, gave you guys a really good rundown on what that project looks like. I think it might even be the same picture, but I just wanted to highlight that we put the wood mulch around the nets, and it was kind of a trial period to get some feedback from the users and see if we wanted to do it with the new design too, and we got a lot of positive feedback, so I think it's something we'll adopt with the new design. Here's a different project we've kind of taken on here, wanting to add a skating feature in our downtown area. So after we got our heads together and we kind of took a look at different options and kind of different parks in the area, we've taken on this project where we're adding a pleasure skating rink in Davie Memorial in the downtown area. So I got a picture here. You can see the log cabin in the park and where we've started to add dirt to the park. So we're building up basically a small levee or ring levee that will flood this fall or this winter and have a skating amenity there at Davie Memorial. So we're really looking to this. It was kind of a fun one where we're doing something out of the norm and taking on a new challenge, if you will. But really going to like to bring that amenity to the area. The initial intent here, since we're just kind of learning as we go and building it over time, is not to have like at our other parks where we have a warming house every day and it's staffed every day and stuff like that, where this is just going to be more for special events where we could hopefully utilize the log cabin for different events and stuff like that. You may recall from last winter here at Viking Ship Park, We had Skate Street, which we put together with just a kind of a small, narrow skating amenity there. So kind of mirroring that a little bit here, where it'll be an amenity. People can definitely come and lace up some skates and do a little skating in the park, but it's not intended to have that kind of full service like our other parks, and until we build it up possibly over time.
We are really excited to kind of activate that cabin because as of right now, and I believe the last couple of years, it really there really hasn't been any events or anything in there. So just it's a historic cabin. We really think it would be a really cool idea to kind of reinvigorate it and do some community events there.
The map looks exciting with like an island right there. That should be a nice little feature. Should be fun.
Yeah, we're looking at trying to light it during the winter with some of the trees or something like that with Christmas type lights and just kind of some cool features that you would see in a downtown. So a project we're really excited for.
I think also the last couple of years there's been no home for like the holiday Christmas tree. Is this a place where it could be a place as well for the lighting of, like usually we have a lighting of the tree in November or whatever? Is it a location that could happen at, or?
For sure, it's definitely something we can explore. I'm not sure. I need to check with Steve and our events team to kind of see what the plan is for this year. But it is a really great space, and it's one of those parks that it's in such a great location, and just we need to kind of activate, get a lot more family friendly type events over there, especially as the new downtown redevelops. So really excited for the possibilities over at Davie Memorial.
Should be a few more roads open by winter time, so it should be easy to get down there. Construction should be a little better by then.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely an exciting project, and we're hoping that it has a unique feel to it, so lots of opportunity. Next item I wanted to discuss was Daly Park. If you are not aware, this is Moorhead's smallest park, and this is a picture of the entire park. It's in between the different roadways here, a small triangular shaped park. And back in 2020, we did have two residents, Amy and Eric, take this area on as a project. They wanted to make a pollinator, or they did make a pollinator-friendly location here where they were able to get together a planting plan and plant a lot of native flowers and pollinator-friendly habitat, which really took off. One of the things that happened as this project evolved and the plants really started to flourish is they got a lot taller than we originally intended. One of the things we have to consider in the area is, because it's a traffic intersection, is sight lines and being able to see traffic. So we ask that the vegetation stays below 24 inches, just so that people in cars, when they're trying to merge at the intersection and stuff, that they're actually able to see the other traffic. What's happened in the last couple of years is that vegetation is getting taller than it's supposed to. We end up receiving calls from the public saying, hey, this is kind of unsafe. Every time I have to merge here, it's hard to see the traffic coming, things like that. And we've worked with Amy and Eric, and they have to go in and cut it down and make it so that it's, safe again. But what we've found over the years, and especially with the vegetation being taller than they wanted, is that park has just become more work than they want it to. Probably in 2020 when it first started, they had a lot of free time, and things change over it, and they don't have as much time to invest into the project as a whole. And with the kind of understanding the safety aspect of it too, we were wanting to put together some solutions. So I did speak with Amy on it, and the concept that we've put together here and the plan that we want to move forward with is to remove the native flowers that are currently there and convert it to a bee lawn. Now that I'm talking about it, I wish I would have added a picture of a bee lawn, but bee lawn is much shorter grass. It's got a lot of clover in it and stuff like that, so there's still a lot of flowering things that are very friendly to bees, naturally in their name, to the area. but we know by changing the species, we're not going to have the safety hazard as far as sight distances being obstructed and things like that. I did speak with Amy about that, and she was on board with that plan moving forward as far as wanting to, keep that same initiative going as far as being pollinator friendly and understanding the differences there. So we've reached out to the Extension Office and are looking for partnerships. Our initial plan right now is to have an event with the public where people could come and take some of these plants and transplant them, hopefully in their home or their yards, so we can kind of spread it around town, if you will. And then we would come in here this fall or early next spring and replant it with that bee lawn to kind of change the atmosphere of the park as a whole, but hopefully still create that ecosystem that's pollinator friendly. Another thing about bee lawn, it is one of those things that in the last couple of years, I receive requests from either the public or people within the city on how do we incorporate that into our parks, and we don't really have any bee lawns in our park system right now. So this could work as a kind of a pilot program, if you will, or a test plot to see how that works. We definitely gain knowledge in how to maintain it and understand the pros and cons of that type of installation.
No, I think we've had some really encouraging conversations with the U of M Extension Office and the Master Gardeners. Something to honor the work of the previous project and folks who donated their time and money and effort to the city, while also trying to keep that pollinator friendly atmosphere there. So really excited. We are looking to try to do some events, so we have to watch Facebook and social media and as in the next couple weeks. So yeah, excited about this one.
Quick update. The city of Moorhead did receive MPCA grant for climate action grant here in 2024, which kicked off the work here in 2025 for native grass plantings along our river corridor. So we have a total of 10 acres, 5 different locations along the river corridor where we, as you can see in the picture, prepared the soil for planting, and then we partnered with M&L Landscapes to come in and plant the native seed in the native prairies. So if you do see something like this along the river, that's what that is. We're working to get some signage up in the areas too to just kind of build that visibility to the public and help them understand what we're doing. But it was great to receive the grant and the support and a great project. Reimagine Romkey Park, as you all know, we're currently working on the pool house and the pool and redoing the park as a whole. Just a quick update, wanted to share, a cool photo with you. As you can see with the new building, getting the roof trusses up and starting to frame up the pool itself. If you were out there here this week or today, you'd see that the roof is basically completed. It's all shingled. And then the pool itself, they have poured the foundations and the floor of the pool. And today they were actually working on the shotcrete where they spray the concrete for the walls of the pool. So overall, the project is on schedule and holding on budget. So really excited to see this progress and move along so that we're ready for the 2026 season.
Yeah, and I'll just add a note. In the next month or so, the park should be pretty active with construction contractors and everything. They are going to move into the rest of the park in September to start the rest of the amenities there. So you'll really kind of start to see the park layout come together in the next month or so. So just really excited that that project continues to move forward. And it's really the amount of amenities there, it's really kind of going to change the dynamic of that park from a neighborhood park kind of to more a community park. So
just to confirm, is the goal to have that open kind of normal season next year, or will there be any delay that you can foresee?
Correct. As of right now, our opening is June of 2026. Hoping everything, weather cooperates. We did lose a little bit of time with all the rain, but I think we are moving closer to being on schedule, and all signs are kind of trending that way. So knock on wood.
Yeah, we definitely want to have the pool open for pool season on the normal dates. Probably one thing to recognize as far as the park as a whole, as we're moving into fall, we may not get everything planted and things like that. So then we'd be looking at spring planting for establishing turf and stuff like that. But definitely would have the amenities in and things like that, and kind of it'll take a while for some of the stuff to grow in and be complete. Other big ticket item we got going on, as you're aware, Matson Grandstand project. Wanted to share this photo with you here. Here in the background, you can see the concrete forms for the grandstand project itself. The concrete company has put in the footings, and now they're putting in all of the walls for the grandstand itself. They anticipate next week to complete the walls, and we'll start with the backfilling process. So definitely see things go vertical in the next month out at Matson. But alongside that, we've been doing a lot of in-house work here with our staff and some volunteers with a landscaping company and stuff. We're working on the infield also and the outfield. So cutting some fresh lines in the turf. We've top dressed the infield, redoing around the home plate area, and top dressing in the outfield too. So not only will we have a nice new grandstand, but hope to have some great field improvements on the field of play.
Go ahead, we can go on to the next
Yeah,
item,
yeah.
unless
So
there's
next
any-
up is the, I wanted to provide an update on Emerald Ash Borer, EAB. You may have heard of that already. But wanted to just kind of tune in, share the city's management plan with EAB, and if you have any questions on what the impacts of the parks or what we can expect from the parks. But here we go. So as you may be aware, emerald ash borer, commonly called EAB, is a beetle that has been found in the city of Moorhead here in 2023. It's native to the Asia area, but has been found here in the U.S. in the early 2000s, spreading quickly across the country, causing lots of damage to ash trees. That's where the beetle itself feeds. Here in the bottom picture, you can see how the larvae feed on the cambium layer or the phloem in the tree, and why that's detrimental to the tree itself is that's the layer that's able to transport the nutrients to the tree. So essentially, as that larva feeds, it chokes the tree, and the tree's not able to survive once too much damage happens to it. Is very detrimental to communities once it grabs hold. As you can see here on the graph, about a 15-year period between when it's first discovered to when it basically has 100% mortality on the ash tree population in that area. So definitely concerning for us. And the reason it does have that curve is kind of the exponential growth of the beetle as it takes hold in the ecosystem, and as you can see very quickly, establishes a large population in the area. There's an example Ohio, just a boulevard picture on what it did in a 3 to 4 year span as far as taking out some trees. A little history on how it's spread through Minnesota. You can see on the left in 2009 when it was first discovered. And then the picture all the way on the right here is 2025. So we can just see how it's spreading and working its way across the state of Minnesota. Here in 2023, when we first discovered the beetle, we had a inventory of 6,500 ash trees. These are the city's inventory, so these are city-owned trees that are either in a boulevard or a park or city-owned property. And ash trees make up 26% of those trees of the urban forest itself. So definitely alarming on the impacts that it'll have on our landscape. So upon finding it here and before, Trent Wise, he's our city forester, he has put together a management plan on how we're going to handle it here in our community. He's put a lot of work towards this and has done an excellent job on executing the plan here so far. But big picture wise, what we want to do is take that 6,500 ash trees and bring it down to 5,000 ash trees. And the plan of attack is removing and replanting any ash tree that's 11 inches or less in DBH. That's the diameter at breast height, or basically the diameter of the tree. So we're removing the young ash trees. In that process too, anytime we come across the ash tree that is either not in good health or has poor structure, or isn't a quality tree, we're also removing those trees in those process and planting them with a diverse mixture of species. With ash being so prevalent in our urban forest, we definitely don't want to just plant one type of tree. We want to have a diverse species so that we're not so susceptible to issues like this. Once we get concurrently here, as far as getting the ash population down to 5,000 trees, we are using a chemical treatment of the trees. It's emamectin benzoate, and it's a injection that's injected into the tree. Here you can see from the picture, our staff is injecting this tree, and we do it in the spring when the tree is able to uptake that chemical. The treatment itself lasts for 3 years, and it gives it protection from the emerald ash borer bug. So if the larva or the beetle itself were to feed on the tree, it will die. It'll die from feeding on the tree, essentially. And that's kind of the big picture, is we want to keep these 5,000 trees in our urban forest, in the population as a whole, and we'll just every 3 years complete that cycle as far as continuing to treat the trees. One thing we anticipate to see as we're treating the trees is hopefully some type of herd immunity, if you will, to slow the spread for the rest of the community, because we're just have those trees in the area. And, like I stated, if the beetle feeds on it, it will die from feeding on it. So we hope to create a herd immunity to some degree and slow the spread amongst the community. How does this specifically impact the parks? Well, we do have a large number of ash trees in the parks, approximately 1/10 of the inventoried ash. And 225 of those are of the smaller diameter trees. We've listed out some of the higher impacted parks. Village Green, Ridgewood, Riverview Estates, Angela's, Horizon Shores are some of those parks that have a fair amount of ash trees in them. And we are implementing a very similar strategy as we are with all of the other boulevard trees, where we're going to remove the smaller trees and treat the larger trees and try to keep them in our population. What that timeline looks like here in 2023, we did start removals and treatments of trees. Between 2024 and 2027, we plan to complete the removal of the trees. So we would get down to that 5,000 ash trees in 2027. And then we are currently 2 years in on our 3-year treatment cycle here in 2024 and 2025. We've treated those trees, and next year we'll be able to complete that first full cycle and give those trees a level of immunity from the pest. We do have a couple of online tools available on our city website. If you go under the forestry division there, the one on the left is our ash tree treatment plan, where you can actually go in and see specifically where the ash trees are. We've highlighted which ones we intend to treat, what year they're being treated, and then we've also highlighted the ones that will be removed and what year we anticipate those removals to happen. One thing to recognize is, all plans are kind of fluid, and being able to pivot as conditions change. An easy example of that is if we notice an infestation in a certain part of town, we're definitely going to move resources into that area and try to contain it the best we can. Another tool that you may be aware of is our tree plotter, which is on the forestry website there. So that's the picture on the right. And that's not just specifically ash trees, but all trees. You can see where the dots are. And those dots, the different colors represent different species. So you can actually click on it, see what type of tree it is, what size the tree is. These are ones that we have maintained in our maintained areas, and they're fully inventoried. One thing I do want to highlight just for awareness with our EAB management plan and how we currently maintain our urban forest, you'll see at Viking Ship Park here is a prime example. Where the dots are, these are our maintained areas. So these are the trees that we're actively inspecting, pruning, treating if they're an ash tree. But you'll notice that along more of the river bottom, along the edge of the river, we call this our unmaintained area. So we're not in there doing pruning or treating ash trees or anything like that. They're considered more of a, well, by name, an unmaintained area. So just one thing to recognize, especially as EAB becomes more prevalent and impacts different trees within our community. I can anticipate that with our current plan and our current capabilities that we'll see more dead ash trees kind of in that unmaintained area, just naturally based on how we maintain.
Is there anything that citizens, people of Moorhead can or should be doing to help with the infestation at all?
Yeah, very good question. I think one of the first things is education, right? So they can definitely go to our website, the forestry website. There's a lot of information on EAB and kind of gives, just information on how it works, different treatment options, things like that. One thing to highlight is that we're maintaining the city-owned trees, but if you have an ash tree in your backyard, that's your responsibility to maintain that tree. So if homeowners want to take a look at treatment options or different options, it's definitely highly encouraged that they do that, because that in general will just slow the spread for the entire community.
It seems like when Moorhead was founded or developing, they just really love the ash tree because it grows really quick, and it makes up a big part of the urban forest. So kind of like Dutch elm in the 90s, early 2000s, how that tree disease really impacted the Fargo-Moorhead area, and now we're kind of seeing it here with ash. So definitely a lot of resources on the website, and I fortunately have 5 ash trees in my backyard, so I had to treat all those, but there's definitely resources to help residents and citizens, and our forester is always available to answer questions as well.
I think too, for the mixture of the trees being planted, being in Horizon Shores, a lot of maples were planted, and they're turning yellow and are dying as well now. So I think they're obviously not, maybe the soil because of the pond around our area, but a lot of those trees are turning yellow, and I know they've already replaced a couple of them. So that doesn't seem to be a real good mix for our area either. So
Yeah, the maple species does struggle with our soils here, with our clay soils. What you're seeing with the yellowing of the leaves is called chlorosis, and again, because the tree isn't getting the nutrients it needs, it can't produce chlorophyll and have the normal green leaf, and is slowly suffocating because of that. So, yeah, that's a very good point, and the reason that we need to diversify those species.
Yeah, I've been treating mine, try to make it live too, and that's an expensive little thing to try to keep your tree alive, but here we go.
Right. And I know on the forestry website, there is a preferred list of trees. So there's a shade tree section that recommends, all the ones the city is planting that do well in our soil, as well as kind of a smaller tree variety. So it's a good resource if you're looking to plant a tree and the types that would grow well here.
So for some of the parks that seem to have a high number of these trees, are we looking at any diversification even while we're doing treatment?
Yeah, I mean, as far as even if we're treating the trees to plant similar trees, kind of understanding that maybe some of the ashes won't survive.
Yeah, is it worth getting ahead of it to start planting even a few here and there so that if something were to happen that they'd kind of get wiped out, that there'd just be trees in place?
Yeah, and that's something that Trent is considering, and he kind of looks at it from a park by park basis instead of just having a blanket approach to it. So it's definitely something he takes a look at and considers, and even when we go to plant a tree, kind of evaluating the park as a whole on selecting those planting sites is part of that process.
All right, well, thank you for the update on on everything you've discussed between the construction and the ash borer update. So we'll move on to, before we do that, we need to go on to letter E, which is approving the 2026 meeting dates.
I have a question about that. Does the November one have to be that week? Does it always have to be the week of?
It typically is that third week, but if there's a consensus among park board, we could look to move it. And I'm not sure if we would need a motion for that, but we can look to kind of look for an alternative date. If I know that one is close to Thanksgiving, so folks travel. That's just when it's historically been held.
Sure.
So we can look to move that a week prior if needed. So.
I don't have a strong opinion about moving it. I am not from here, and we don't have family in town, so we usually are gone that week no matter what. But just thought I'd throw that out there.
For sure. I don't know if we need a motion, and then we can pull that one out and then approve that one at the next meeting.
Unless we want to set a date, if we could just set either the Thursday before or Thursday after as the date, and then approve the dates as are, or they would be, or.
Yeah, the only tough thing is checking availability of the space, as I'm not able to check it offhand. But we could set a date, and then if we need to look to move it, we can do that. So
I think it'd be fine just to do just a determined date for November, I guess, and we can.
Yeah, and I believe when I was going through looking at possible dates, Thursdays typically were a good day, as you notice on the 2026 potential park board dates. A lot of them are Thursdays. Typically they are held the third Tuesday of the month. However, there are several other committees that kind of follow in that same Tuesday schedule, and we were just a little bit later. So airport and another, I think MPS committees were able to grab a lot of those Tuesdays, but Thursdays seem to be an open space here.
And then the workshop, is that something we need to decide as a committee, or just, we'll know about that later on if we do a January?
Yeah, I think
workshop?
Typically what's been done in the past is just emailing of getting some availability for the workshop and then just setting that date based off that availability.
All right, so I think we just need a motion to probably accept the February, May, and August dates, and then keep November as to be determined until we find a date that works.
I motion to accept the first 3 dates and leave the last one as to be determined.
All right, do I have a second?
Second, Moore.
All right, I have a motion by Alex and second by Emily to accept the the 3 dates for February, May, and August, and then we'll pick a date for November. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, move on down to the information updates. I'm not sure who would, Sean, are you, anything?
Yep. So what you'll see before you are just pictures from the Matson field groundbreaking. So this was held on June 30th, and construction actually broke ground the next day on July 1. We had a fantastic turnout for the groundbreaking. I think there was over 250 people there, and a great turnout from City Council and Park Board. It was a fantastic event. The weather was great, and a lot of great media coverage of the project. So that was really nice to see kind of that light shine on the facility. So kind of going through the packet, there's a lot of brief history on how the stadium was named, and then just sharing some photos of it. It was very well attended. So, it was held on a Golds game. So if you're not so familiar with Legion baseball, there's kind of a Golds in Moorhead, which is kind of the JV program, and then there's the Blues, which would be kind of the varsity team. And uniquely, it was held during a Golds game because basically they're going to be the next group to play at the field. So it really worked out. Was a fantastic night, and I've never seen so much attendance at a Golds game, as well as so many runs scored. I think there was like 26 runs scored in the first game, so it went very, very long. And it was just kind of a great community event that happened. Fundraising for Matson Field, it does continue. Just a quick update with that project. I know the capital plan was brought before Park Board for 26 for approval. That at that time, I think Matson Phase 2 was a number 2 or number 2 priority that we approved, but decisions for Phase 2 will be brought before Park Board for those decisions about Phase 2. But private fundraising does still continue.
I just wanted to share this really quick with the group. One of the initiatives the city of Moorhead has is implementing a software called Element XS. This is an asset management, work order management type software that the city is doing citywide. But here in the last month and a half, we've rolled it out with our park maintenance team. A couple of screenshots here. I know it's hard to see, but the software itself gives us an opportunity to track different maintenance items, maintenance tasks that are put together, assign a priority, and we actually have tablets for our staff to use out in the field, so they're able to see what needs to be done, respond to it, and close it out. So it's a great tracking software. And then the bottom snippet there is the software itself is GIS based. So as problems come up, there's actually small markers that are placed where the task is or where the work is needed. Really great tool, especially for our staff that are working throughout the city to visually see where everything is at. We've had great success in other departments with Public Works as far as our sign maintenance team. Our forestry team has even used it a little bit, and now we're rolling out streets and park maintenance. So really exciting stuff as far as putting new tools in the hands of the guys that are doing the work and make us more efficient with our time.
Yeah, it's a really exciting software launch. Basically, people out in the field can catalog information if they see there's damage to a basketball hoop or something like that. Basically, a picture can be taken, it'll geotag a location, and you can create a work order that then can be assigned to address. So just a great way to manage multiple projects to make sure we have all that follow through.
Is it like then checked off when it's done so they know it's been completed? Is that how you know when it's all done? Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
So moving on, you'll see before you is our fall and winter activity guide. So a lot of great activities, events, and programs in there. So if you haven't got a chance to look at it or don't follow us on Facebook for the most up-to-date information, please be sure to do so. Really do appreciate when Park Board or other supporters help share our events and just news just to help kind of get the word out to residents. Well, some of the feedback we've gotten at community events is, this is a fantastic program, fantastic event. I didn't know Moorhead does this, or I didn't know you had this. So we're really trying to change the narrative there. And, there's nearly 50,000 people in Moorhead, and how can we better get that information to the masses? So any help from the board or anybody, family, friends, to continue helping to get the message out, we definitely appreciate it. Moving on to Greater Moorhead Days. So that kicks off next week, actually, with Cruise Night. So next Thursday over at M State, we'll kind of begin Moorhead's kind of signature event series in the fall. This year we're celebrating 150 years, so the sesquicentennial is a tough one to say. So 150 years. We did look back, and it is the day was the first time where Moorhead's government was essentially recognized by the state. Really, really exciting time for the 150th. So you'll see pictures from the parade. So that's next Friday. And the parade will run along 20th Street. It'll start at M State on 20th Street South, and then we'll move to the north, and we'll stop at 14th Avenue South. So come out, bring your family, friends along 20th there. There'll be, I think, over 60 cars there handing out candy, swag, and a lot of awesome stuff celebrating Moorhead.
I believe there's also a cross-country meet at University of Moorhead there same day, so it could be a busy spot, so plan ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be happening.
Yeah, so it's like all the way from junior high all the way to the college runs it, so it's a pretty big meet. So
yeah, moving on. I'm really excited about this event. We were approached by Discover Outdoors. I think it was on my second or third week. It would be great to do an outside trails event. Some of the feedback I've heard, Moorhead has great trails, but they lead to nowhere, or I don't know where these trails are. So we got together and actually reached out to Fargo Parks and kind of created this joint event called Roam the Red that we pulled into Greater Moorhead Days. So essentially there'll be trail type activations at Dyke East in Fargo, as well as Lindenwood Park. And then kind of the afternoon type activities are in Gooseberry Park. So basically you could start in Fargo, hop on the trail system there and move into Moorhead and kind of finish up at Gooseberry Park. So a lot of games, food trucks, and just a lot of great atmosphere type stuff, celebrating kind of the trails, being outside in the parks, and hoping the weather cooperates since fall's been so beautiful. The next big event for Greater Moorhead Days is our Midco Kids Fest. So that's held at Blue Stem Park over there. And I think over roughly 1,000 some people historically have attended. And that one is a fantastic family-friendly event with tons of inflatables, games, vendors, and a lot of just great stuff for families with kids. So. And here's kind of the umbrella of Greater Moorhead Days. For the most up-to-date information, you can visit greatermoorheaddays.com, and basically it'll list all of the events as part of the kind of the week-long celebration. Moving on to our program recap. So this kind of encompasses May through August of all the summer type programs. So this summer was another strong year. We had just a little shy under last year's facility rentals. So those shelters can be reserved by the public at MB Johnson as well as Gooseberry. So those shelters stay really busy from birthday parties, grad parties, corporate type parties. So definitely a great amenity for folks to be able to rent those in the parks. We did have a tough year for our canoe and kayak program, with the river being very, very, very fast. I think we were only open 3 days. So just kind of a tough year for that. But as we look to move forward, we're kind of dedicated to continue to offer that program. It is a really great amenity to offer, and as well as, with the downtown development with Moorhead, we definitely envision our canoe and kayak program growing. It just was tough this year with the river not cooperating. So we had our annual dog dip at the pool, so it was great to see some park board members come out. I believe we had over 80 dogs at the event, so another awesome event at Northeast Wading Pool. That was definitely one we look forward to every year. We're still kind of looking to see if that would be at the municipal pool next year or continue to use the wading pools. It's kind of been a great facility for that. Also wanted to shine a light on Moorhead Public Schools. They've been a fantastic partner. Steve Moore over there helping us without the municipal pool there. We've been able to offer essentially the same amount of swim lessons as previous years that were normally held outside. I think we were almost able to offer more just without losing days to weather and everything like that. So definitely want to recognize Moorhead Public Schools for being a great community partner. In front of you, you'll also see information about the Moorhead Award that was nominated to Ashley Anderson. So we did have a near drowning event at one of the wading pools, and it turned out to kind of be a really silver lining type of situation where a bystander came in there, was able to provide CPR until paramedics were able to respond on scene. And just a great story about two families coming together over the event. So that was really great to see that story being told, and just kind of the community, people taking care of each other. So, and other than that, moving through just a lot of media updates. We've had a lot of great positive news just with things happening in Moorhead, in the parks, projects, and in the community. So definitely fun to see all that, and it's been a busy summer, and can't believe we're already heading into Labor Day. So at that time, I can answer any questions or
Questions, comments?
Just have a comment. I want to say thanks for all the updates and everything. I didn't comment on it, but with all the additions and updates to especially Village Green area, it's where I live. It's been a lot of fun to have all those renovations and updates all throughout the city. Moorhead's a great place to live. Super excited for the future. So thanks.
for sure. Thanks. And also do want to shine a light on our farmers market. So that runs every Tuesday through October. Not through October, but the start of October. Steve French and his team have done a fantastic job with that market, really starting to build it up from previous years. And we have applied for a USDA farmers market grant that we're hoping to hear back in October to really increase the awareness of that market. We're trying to kind of almost create it almost as a grocery store type thing. So where folks every Tuesday, they just know, hey, I'm going to drive down to Viking Ship Park and get groceries for the week. Bringing fresh produce. We have salmon, baklava, a lot of great stuff that you can acquire freshly made. And so that's been a fun program to see start to move forward and kind of build back up to kind of where it was. So
That's Tuesdays, what times?
Tuesdays from 3:30 to 6, I believe.
Do you know how long that goes in the year?
Is it October? Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, October 28th, weather permitting. So, yeah. And then every other week we have live music here, so it really kind of creates a great vibe. You can kind of come down, you can hang out. There's a food truck down there, and grab some groceries, enjoy the park, and get stuff done for the week and head home.
All right, thanks for the update. I just need a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
Well, one other quick question. I know mosquitoes is a hot topic in Moorhead. Do we do anything different in the parks compared to what the city does?
Yeah, so as far as the parks with mosquito control, the short answer is no. It just kind of falls in line with our current mosquito control program. One thing Sean and I have been working with here is probably some targeted mosquito control relative to certain events and things like that. So when we have larger special events, to make sure that that we can get the conditions out there, especially in the evening, best as possible.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, it's tough with some of those events in the parks. You know, the big thing is just trying to get people there. And, you know, with those mosquitoes posing a health risk or a nuisance, you know, nothing makes people leave faster. So just trying to balance all that type of stuff to where how can we have the minimal impact on the environment there, but also trying to be pretty targeted with that, so people can get out and enjoy events in the parks. So.
A motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
All right. Motion by Mitch, second by Brian to adjourn the meeting of the August 28th, 2025 meeting. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.